Morning, everyone. Sorry, my computer's giving me a fit this morning.
Morning.
It is recording. Okay, cool. See, I pulled this up this morning and it was telling me that I had no upcoming meetings, and I'm like, oh crap. Oh, you can't see that. Let me go back. Sorry. Keep forgetting to share my screen. So yeah, I pulled this up this morning. I'm like, no meetings. I got it this morning about 6 o'clock and didn't have internet service. And I thought, oh, great. That's a great way to start the morning off. So it's been something else, let me tell you. Okay, so today, let me see if I can get everything going here. Open up your chat box. We'll have a little bit of participation today. So today we are going to talk about biomimicry. We are going to get into some life cycle assessments, and Tim's asking if we watch all the videos by Monday, will we be caught up? No, because you're going to have a new assignment today. So I've opened up a new module today, and we're going to talk about the life cycles and some embodied energy today. So let's start off by getting into biomimicry. So what is biomimicry? Biomimicry is looking towards nature to figure out how to best be humans. How can we fit into this world? And one of the first things that was ever probably used that I know of, I mean, there were plenty of it used in biomimicry, but one of the most famous, I guess you could say, is the Wright brothers' first flight. So, man has always wanted to learn how to fly. And so we are trying to, figure out how to get lift, and, all the way back to Leonardo da Vinci was trying to figure out how to fly. How can man fly? So what we done was we started looking at a bird's wing. So, this was one of the things that the Wright brothers did, was they started looking and comparing how does a bird fly so easily? How can we use this to allow us to fly as well? So this is a very, very good example of biomimicry. What is the most perfect shape in nature? Does anybody know?
The egg.
What?
The egg.
The egg is the most perfect shape in the world. And a lot of eggs come out different.
I don't believe it.
So, a lot of times I hear, well, the circle is the perfect shape, or, the egg is the perfect shape. But the perfect, dadgum, this stupid thing keeps popping up. Triangle is the perfect shape. So, we get all of these things, but let's think about nature, and let's think about the honeycomb.
So the hexagon?
The honeycomb, well, not necessarily the hexagon itself, but the honeycomb itself. If you look at a honeycomb, it is designed to be absolutely perfect as far as, use of space These diagonals are almost absolutely perfect. The insides of these holes are almost perfect. The hexagon itself, it's designed to allow for maximum use. And in places like Japan, actually, and China, where spaces, where overpopulation is a big thing, then you can fly into a place and let's see, what is that called? Airport sleeping cubby. So, some of these little cubbies actually use that type of honeycomb design. And of course, there we go. That's what I was looking for. So these little things, they're not much. They're just a bed, basically. You just climb into this thing and go to sleep, and that's it. You may get up and get on another plane and head to another place as well. So, this is a very good example of the honeycomb. So how we can put the majority of people in place with minimal area. And so the honeycomb in architecture especially is the closest resemblance to nature as far as the perfect space. So when we look at biomimicry in architecture especially, then we have to, we start using some of this stuff in nature to try to figure out how we can, as humans, fit in better. So we look to our animal friends, maybe not quite so much like this, but it's a lot of these designs are using natural structures to create spaces for us as humans. And why do we need this? I mean, why do we need to have all this forestry up in the buildings and stuff like that? This is a concept building, but why do we need this? Well, as humans, we it is in our nature to be part, or it is in our, what am I trying to say? It is in our, it's in our blood. It's in our DNA to be part of nature. For instance, my office. Okay, so my office is, it is basically windows all the way around. So I have just windows, and I have plants inside as well. I got tons of plants in here. And when you guys are not on Zoom, then this door back here is opened, and my animals go in and around. I've got a little place here for my cat to hop up on the ledge there and eat. You'll notice that I've got a bird feeder out there where the birds can come around. So it puts me at one with nature, or gets me closer to nature. And not just because that I love being outside and stuff, but it's just embedded in my genes. So we gotta, it's part of our human nature. If you put somebody in a room, a 5x8 room, and expect them to survive, they're probably not going to. They're going to get depressed. They're going to feel isolated. They can't, stretch out, and it's really, well, it works on the body really, really bad. So let's think about red room, for instance. All right, so a red room, maybe I shouldn't have pulled this up. A red room. So a room, hey, let me go back another way. A room painted red. So a room painted red. So here we have a nice room. Notice that this whole room is not painted red. This whole this whole room is painted red, even though we have a lot of other things going on there. So as humans, what happens when we walk into a room that's painted red? Our blood, what's that?
It's high energy.
It is high energy. It makes our blood pressure go up. So if you're susceptible to heart attacks or high blood pressure, you do not want to be in a red room. It affects us mentally and physically in a red room. Now, in some cases in the histories, red was, it was a sign of luxury. You'll notice that if you ever go into the Biltmore house, red seems to be one of the primary colors that they use in all of their rooms, but they didn't realize at the time, maybe, I don't know, maybe they did, that red was, a high energy room. Yellow is another high energy room. Cooler colors such as blue and green, they will make you calmer. They will lower your blood pressure. They will ease your mind a little bit. And so when we start thinking about that, if we go back to nature, then let's look at the colors. We got blues, we got greens, we got some browns. All of these are cool colors. All of these are very soothing images and allows us as humans to be at ease and to feel at one with nature. It is, it goes back to what is embedded in us as part of our growing through the evolutions. So even back years and years and years and thousands of millennia ago, when humans had nothing else but to be one with nature, then, this is a cool little house there. I haven't seen that one yet. What about this house? Anybody familiar with this house?
Frank Lloyd Wright. I don't remember the exact location though.
It is in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Do you know what the name of what the name of the house is?
I used to. I got a book on all his stuff.
Like Falling Water.
Falling Water. That is correct. Falling Water. Absolutely. So, okay. So this is actually a very good example of the other end of the spectrum. So what happens in this house? Do you think that if you own this house, do you think that you could live peacefully in this house?
Yep.
Yep. Well, the occupants of this house had a tendency to have to pee all the time.
That makes sense.
Because the water's going off all the time. Water runs in the house. So what is another thing that could be attributed to this house because we have water coming inside the house? What about mold?
Oh, mold. Okay.
Mold and mildew was a very promising thing here.
Insects?
Insects, yeah, absolutely. So let's take a look at this one here. So this is the glass house.
Oh, yeah.
You think you could live in that one okay?
Nope.
Why not?
Too much light. You can't sleep at night. You don't have any melatonin production.
Okay.
It's really hot.
Again?
It's really hot.
Really hot in the summertime, yeah. Sam, you actually hit on something there. The occupants of this house had a problem with it because even though it could be 72 on the inside, if it snowed outside, they were cold. Just because they're looking at nature, it's cold outside, they were cold. Again, if it's hot outside, it might be, a comfortable 62 degrees on the inside, but they're sweating because, they're looking this, sight and sound have a huge impact on human nature. So these were problems that came about that people didn't even think about until you have to live with it all the time. Now you think, oh, this is cool. I would love this. I've always wanted. Well, wait a minute. Let me go back. Let's look at the bedroom with sky view. So let's think about this bedroom here. So these type of little dome houses, they're prominent out west, especially around Yellowstone National Park. And if you've ever had a chance to go to Yellowstone National Park, you will find out that you can see every single star in the sky. We have a lot of light pollution here, but you get out there. Well, I mean, go to Rosman. All right, so they have what is it? What do you call those telescopes? Big telescopes that look into the night sky. But they have one over in Rosman because it is one of those places that you can go and you can see every star in the sky. Has anybody ever seen the Milky Way? Well, when you go to places like that, you can actually see the cluster of stars in a straight line that you can see, and that is the Milky Way. So in places like this, a lot of people think, ooh, I would just love to go out here and stay in this for the weekend and be able to look at the stars at night and have the moon coming out. So my wife, for instance, she is deaf, meaning that she cannot hear it thunder. She couldn't hear a child cry. She can't hear the wind blow, but her senses of sight have taken over. So we thought, hey, this, something like this might be cool. So what we decided we'd do, we got our sleeping bags and we went out in the yard and we, just camped right out there in the open air. And where I live, we still do have some light pollution, but it's not too terribly bad. It's not like Asheville, and we can see some stars. So we're sleeping. And in the middle of the night, she rolls over and wakes me up. And she said, I can't sleep. We got to go in the house. And I said, why? And she said, cause the moon is waking me up. Well, I didn't think about that. I think about, the moon. I'm thinking, oh, cool. But to her, even the slightest bit of light, she has a problem with sleeping. So in our bedroom, I mean, you'd think that we slept in a cardboard box because all of our windows are absolutely just blacked out so that she can rest, because little things, and I'm talking super little things like the clock on the VCR, or even, okay, so on my let me go back to here just a second. On my computer here, you'll see this, see that little light right there, the power light?
Mm-hmm.
Would you believe that keeps her awake? I'm not kidding you. When the TV screen is off, this little light is still on and it bothers her. And so she'll come and she'll close that door. So this door here leads to our bedroom. She will come and close that door so that it doesn't bother her and she can sleep. So what's that?
I was going to say she's got light hypersensitivity.
Well, she is, but she's deaf.
Right.
Hearing people don't think about things like that. For instance, here's something I want you to try to do. I know it's hard to imagine being deaf, but I want you to take a balloon and I want you to hold it, and I want you to I just want you to feel it. I want you to turn on some music. If you've got some earphones or something that can just muffle the sound, try to muffle that sound as much as you can. And I want you to hold a balloon and just feel the vibrations from the balloon in the music. And I mean, I know, you hear these thumpers, I call them thumpers. You hear these cars going down the road and, there's these little bitty Miatas or something, and they're really, stuck down to the ground, but you hear them thumping. And some of them are thumping so hard, you feel like the muffler's going to fall off or the back glass is going to break at any time. But this is a perfect example of things that, we as hearing, visual, all of our senses, we take for granted. Look at this little child here. Try that. Get your roommates, your kids, your best friend, whatever, and do a little thing with the balloon. You'll be surprised at what you find out. That you can have. So all of this goes back and contributes to biomimicry. So we as humans, we've got to be able to be at ease. We can't just live in a square box. We need windows. We don't want too many windows, but we need some windows. And well, for instance, my office, I just showed you my office, and it is 65 degrees in the office. It's 35 degrees out, or it's 31 degrees outside. But the other day when it was snowing, I was just sitting here thinking, man, this is beautiful. I'm sitting here and I can watch it snow and I'm just having a great time. But then I noticed, man, I got to put on an extra little jacket or something because I'm chilly. So I plugged in my little space heater, which I hate using. And here I look over there and the temperature is up to like 72 degrees. And generally at 72 degrees, because of all the insulation that I've got on my body, I'm a sweating person. But here I'm sitting here watching it snow, loving it. And all of a sudden I'm cold. So also it has to do with, not moving, so forth. So I can get outside and start cutting some wood or something like that. And, it can be 20 some degrees and I'm down to my t-shirt because of the environment that's around me. And I'm working real hard and sweating like crazy. So look at biomimicry, look at nature. And, as you're just, now I know these are odd shapes and sizes, and this is a little bit to the extreme, but, when next time you go on a little walk, look at the things that we have out there, look at nature and look at how things might be contributed to the house. Okay, so thinking about the house. So you guys unmute yourself and I want you to chime in here and tell me, how do we build a house? Tell me the components of a house, not necessarily, what's the first thing that we're going to do to build a house?
Look up for a site.
Okay.
Site selection.
Grading, clear this up.
Okay.
Dig out a trench.
Okay, trench grading, yeah.
Foundation.
Tell me about the foundation.
Footer.
Give me more.
You'll need a footer.
Okay.
You'll need drainage management around the footer.
There you go. I can spell it right. Well, damn it, I still spelled it wrong.
Rain drainage.
There. My fingers go faster than my mind, and I can't spell shit. S-H-E-E-T.
Shit, S-H-I-T.
What else?
Want to roof, insulate the foundation.
Okay.
Uh,
I heard waterproof.
well, and the septic.
Framing
Joists.
or farming, whatever.
Framing. Damn it. Framing. Joists, I heard.
In an exterior air barrier, that's your sheathing.
Envelope.
Your entire building envelope insulation.
Setting up an electrical meter.
Landscape. Okay.
Drywall.
Landscaping.
Glazing.
Glaze. I'm going to put windows. I can't spell glazing.
Oh, you got electric, you might as well put plumbing. And HVAC.
Finish. finish work. That kind of encompasses a lot.
What is it?
Finish work, trim,
Finishing.
flooring.
Okay. Yeah, let's call it trimming. Trimming, finish. Okay. Yeah, that's a big one.
Home
So is
security,
framing.
maybe?
What's that?
Home security?
Then the thing,
Shingles.
you got to put a roof on sometime.
Okay.
Why?
I heard roofing. I heard shingles.
Doors.
Doors. Okay.
Possibly a
Flooring.
fireplace.
Flooring. Heard something else?
A fireplace, maybe?
Appliances.
Oh, furniture?
Cabinet. Closets. Shelving.
Furniture?
Hardware for like cabinet doors and stuff.
Yeah, cabinetry. That's called,
That's what I said.
What's that?
Siding, like vinyl siding.
Oh, siding.
you misspelled cabinets.
I know I misspelled a lot of things.
The autocorrect in Excel.
I don't even know where to go to that. Data. Review. Now she's going to shut down on me.
Oh, what?
Not responding.
Oh, don't you just love that? Hey, do you get your internet through cable out there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I hit spelling. What happened? Not
That-
responding.
that-
Okay, everybody happy? Everything's spelled right now? Okay, keep
We know
going.
what you mean.
We're not done yet.
Oh, lighting? Lighting?
I'm trying.
Oh, I didn't see the wheel.
Okay.
Paint.
Safety devices like smoke detectors, radon detectors, stuff like that. Safety device belongs to
Furnace.
Well, HVAC's got all.
Oh, HVAC. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I assume things like toilets and bathtubs go into plumbing too, right?
Yep.
But that
Yeah.
can be finish.
Outside, you might want a deck or a, garage, yeah, the garage or carport.
Landscaping.
I got that. That's already up there.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Seen it somewhere.
It's in the,
Oh, yeah, there it is. Okay.
Gravel, maybe like the driveway or something. Pave it.
Gravel. That's a must. What about nails and screws?
All manner of fasteners for every step of the way.
Glue. Doorknobs.
It's in hardware.
yeah,
And wouldn't that count as hardware?
Okay.
yeah. Let's not get redundant. Oh, insulation.
I got that. Or insulation. Sheathing, envelope, insulation.
Okay, my bad.
Okay.
What if nails?
Gutters.
Components of hardware.
Gutters and, yeah. Or, gutters and or water catching system. Rainwater catch systems.
Okay, we'll stop for right now. All right, so let's go back up here to the site. Trying to format this right quick. Dang it, no, it's not what I want. Clear. Okay. All right, so let's go up here to back to the site. Okay, what is it? Okay, so we've got grading here, so don't include grading at the site. What is going to happen at the site other than grading to get it ready for the house?
Well, you might have to remove trees and shrubs if they're in the place where the house is going up. I'm not sure what you're asking.
Usually have your utilities stubbed in before you start.
Boundaries.
Well, with this, survey, I was thinking.
Select your orientation.
If you're out in the boonies, you might want to plan how the driveway also goes to the house.
Okay, that's a good start. What about grading? What goes into grading?
Trenches.
Bulldozing dirt.
Sloping.
Leveling
Time
out.
to start looking at
Say again?
drainage management.
Okay, let's move on to foundations and footers.
Excavate.
Okay, we got that in grading, excavation. I'll add that.
We're looking for the components here, or what's, I don't understand what we're doing.
What all is needed?
Cement.
How about some forms to put the cement in?
Oh,
Yeah.
concrete.
Some rebar.
Thank you. Somebody said it. Concrete. Okay. What's in concrete?
Rebar.
Cement is in concrete. Go ahead. Say again.
Rebar reinforcement.
There you go.
Oh, so we're looking for components now, correct?
Well, we got to build this house. We can't just build this house with footers.
Okay. Okay.
We got it. What goes into this?
String
Okay.
lines.
Now we're talking.
All right. String. You got
String levels.
Oh God, if anybody ever uses a string around a string level around me, I'm gonna sling that sucker into existence.
What's wrong with this string level?
They're inaccurate.
Uh,
You better have that thing dead center on that string before it'll work. And that string better be pulled so tight it's about ready to pop.
Just
mhm.
go to
They use
a water.
lasers now, don't they?
Okay. Let's add laser.
SER. I'll be your spell check.
Dang it.
Do an auto fit so we can see everything.
A what?
Auto fit so we can see everything like you did before. There we go.
Well, you have to decide if you're going to have a basement or a
Oh,
crawl
shoot.
space or foundation.
Okay.
I didn't think of that.
Type of foundation.
I'm gonna go up here and add that.
If you have a basement, you need waterproofing.
You got to have waterproofing regardless.
That's the word, transit, on foundation.
On foundation. Transit / builders level. Okay. You guys are getting there, but you ain't quite there yet. So I want to go back up here and I want to add some things that you didn't think about.
I mean, initially. Well, that's not part of building a house.
Oh, it is absolutely. If you don't have a car, you don't have fuel, you don't have tires, you don't have shoes, you don't have a hammer, you don't have clothes.
None of that's necessary to build a house.
That's
A lot of
correct.
people, a lot of
Okay.
houses.
That's
Okay.
not.
It's not necessary to build a house. So you're
That's
going
a
to go
luxury.
up there. Wait a minute. You're going to go up there to this site naked, and you are going to build this house
You're
naked
done.
without a hammer,
Yes,
That's how we
without
did
a
it for
screwdriver.
million years.
Okay, wait a minute.
we're not going to build it.
Okay, so let me get this straight. So the house that we're going to be building is this. Is that my understanding? This is the type of
Sure.
house we're going to build.
How many houses?
Yeah.
How many houses did we build before the invention of cars?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Ah, we got
That
you.
was an excellent point.
So good.
Log
Good.
cabins.
How many of you are going to build a house without a car?
No,
I didn't say how many of your grandparents are going to build a house without a car. How many of you are going to build a house without a car?
have done it.
I guess regardless, people have done it in the past.
Yep. You just
Okay.
send the plan. You get the plans. You send them in. You don't even have to be there.
You're still not going deep enough here. You're going to go to lumber yard.
No, the contractor is.
Well, okay. So
We don't do
you're going to go to the lumber yard and you're going to grab some of this lumber here and you're going to walk it to the house. You're going to walk it to the job site. Wait a minute. Hang on. Let's stop back. Let's go back a little bit further. How did this lumber get here?
It got milled and carried there.
Okay. Who carried it there?
George.
George carried it there on his back. Did he carry it
Chainsaws.
there on his back? What? Wait a minute. I thought we
God.
lived in the United States. I didn't think we lived in a third world
Ecuador.
country.
Eric, are we limiting ourselves to houses built from lumber? because a lot of
No.
houses get built on site from the materials available on site. We've been building from mud, stone, and the logs available on site for most of the human existence.
You're exactly right. You're exactly right. I'm talking about a house today. Okay, so let's stop there for a minute. House today. All right, so this is not my opinion. This is Google's opinion. A house today,
The house is-
in the images, there it is. Okay. There, Danny, I understand where you're coming from. I'm like you. I built my tiny house out of materials that I could get my hands on without having to go and search, and without as little as I can. But I'm talking about the normal house today.
This house today, all of these things that you're showing are a very small representation of the full number of houses that have been built by humans over the course of time. And I'm not trying to say we all need to go back to log houses. I'm just saying that what you're looking at right here is not a representation of a normal house. That's not what most people live in.
That is a pretty good representation.
That
of a
ranch house
modern
right there, that's
though,
pretty-
Which is what he's trying to get us.
That's upper middle class there. That's not even accurate.
It gets worse. Wait a minute. Let me put this in there right here.
If you drive around rural America, you won't see houses like that. The old stuff, yeah.
Well, a lot of houses built today are like 2,500 square feet, 3,000 square feet. So not bigger.
Now, should we throw prefab houses into this mix or not?
It's a house.
That's big. That's what I'm into.
Uh,
Prefab.
okay, so let's do it this way. Meal house. That's not what I wanted. Meal. Ah, damn it. Hang on. I'll show you, by God. I'll get there. Henry River Meal.
Henry or Henry?
Henry.
Henry, okay.
Henry the 8th I am. Does anybody know where this, does this look familiar?
Yeah, it's just outside of Longview.
Wow. Where are you from?
Well, I've been around here for a while. I just drove through there recently, though.
Okay. What movie was it in?
Well, it was in that Katniss Everdeen. What's that one called?
Hunger Games.
Hunger Games.
Very good. Very good.
Oh,
You get a star. You get a star on your forehead today, Danny.
All right. Well, hopefully it'll make up for my previous comments.
No.
Oh, is that-
That's fine. That's fine. So,
Is that right?
I understand where you're coming from. Yes, I agree that, the house today. So, obviously most people just don't want to live in a house like this. And, if we talked about humanity all the way back to the beginning of time, I agree with you. I mean, we've built houses out of straw, out of logs and stuff that was right around us. But, as the average house today, and when I say average, I mean, this is below average. And those other pictures that I was showing you of the high-end houses, that's the high-end houses. But now, wait a minute. Let me go back over here just for a second. Let me show
If
you.
we could put everybody into a house about the size of those mill houses, then everybody'd be in a better spot.
Probably so, yeah.
oh, tiny houses have taken off like wildfire lately.
Okay, so I am a draftsman, and I have done approximately 30 houses this year. All right. So
Wow.
when I say that, average, this is the average type house that I draw this year. So, okay, so out of 30 houses that I've done this year, I've done smaller ones and I've done larger ones. Okay. So when I talk about the average house, this is what I'm talking about. This is, if we were going to go out today and build a house for a client that is, how can I say this? Let me show you another house here. And
What percentage are log cabins?
What's that?
What percentage are log cabins now?
About 10%.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
And, we can presuppose that we need all of our essentials to be able to build a house. I mean, you're going to need some food in the morning. You're going to need to be, you'll have to have had some education. You might need to be literate. You might not need to be literate. But, you're gonna need some
Well,
things.
you think about it, Danny. when we're building that house, do you think that the contractor is going to go out there and dig that footing? No, probably not. A lot of times that contractor don't even get out of his freaking truck. He just goes around and writes checks and makes sure everything's going on. You've got to have, I know it's sad, but you still got to have those illiterate people that have a strong back and can go on and on and on and on and on. So this is a house that was built for a couple that was retired and had no children.
They had a lot of money.
They had a lot of money. Okay.
Jeez.
So this is on the up and up. All right. This is the high end house. Absolutely.
$250,000 easy.
It was $1.1 million.
Just the house, not the property.
Yeah. You got to remember that. You know what happened? Well, let's see. Let's go back here for just a second. If they had built this last year, 2 years ago, it may have been $500,000.
Oh, the lumber's gone up.
2 by 4 by 4. 2 by 4 by 4. Okay, that's half of there's not even a full stud. All right. So, and that's $3.73. At the beginning of last year, I could buy studs $1 less than this, $2.70 some odd cent. All right. So that's the reason that it went up. So I had another folk that I did a house for that. Let me show you this and kind of get your idea on how much this house costed.
What's the square footage?
I don't know yet.
No. Oh.
I don't even remember.
What is the average cost per square foot now?
I don't even want to probably
50?
Probably $200 a square foot right now.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn.
It's nuts.
That's unreal.
Okay, so this is a duplex, but not a duplex. All right, so basically this is what we call an in-law house. This house is a single house, but it's 2 families. It is in this side over here is the kids. On this side over here is the parents of one of them. All right, so you have a common room in here. So there is 3,408 square feet and of heated space and 1,312 of decks and porches. What do you think?
At least 1.5. Well, where's this at? Now, the areas have a lot to do with price.
Lincolnton. You probably are not familiar with Lincolnton, but it's like Arden.
I've heard of it.
It's like Arden.
Okay, I've heard of it. 1.5.
1.5. All right. At the beginning of last year, January, it was estimated to be, ready for this? $300,000. At the end of this year, in other words, I think it was in November, you are so close. It was 1.4 million. Okay. Now,
just because of lumber cost.
Just because of lumber cost. Yep. Well, because of lumber costs and because of the lack of labor, the housing market has went, skyrocketed. That's crazy. If you're trying to get any work done, if you're trying to get a house done right now to build a house, you're not going to do it because every reliable contractor in the nation right now is covered up, at least around in Western North Carolina. Let's just say it that way. Okay. So let's go back over here. Let's get back on track a little bit. All right. So what I'm trying to do is get you guys to think about what kind of embodied energy is involved with this site. So if we go back up here, all right, I had clothes, shoes, hammers, all right, but it goes even further. It goes into the food that we've eaten. I mean, how far back do you go to include this. All right. So this in the site work, not, you know, I know I'm getting a little off topic here by talking about cars and fuel and tires and shoes and all of this shit. But let's think about the grading even more. Let's think about, well, we've got a trench, so we're going to bulldoze. So we got to have a bulldozer. And that bulldozer is made up of bolts and metal. And it takes fuel. And it takes, you know, an operator. So, you know, spell it right. Okay. So, you know, how far back do we go to look at this? So for you guys that's in the drafting program, you know, when you're talking about manufacturing, let's say that we're going to make a nail. All right. How simple is a nail to make? Well, you've got to extract the minerals. All right, so you got to get the iron ore. How do you get the iron ore? Do you go out there and dig it by hand? Do you have, you know, you got to extract the material. You've got to refine it. You've got to mold it. You've got to transport it. And it just goes on and on and on and on. Damn it.
May I interject something real quick?
Yep.
I can't find it on the internet because I can't remember how to spell it. But one of the things I learned back in my early meditation days is a term called Nikon. And I don't remember how to spell it. And I think it's obviously Asian of origin, but it's a philosophy of exactly what you're explaining, that everything's connected, that everything we get, like from the grocery store, you have to go back to this source and all the people that handled it and made it come into being. So basically what you're explaining to us is that ancient Asian philosophy of Nikon, which I can't recall how to spell it, but that's that everybody's involved in everything, that we're an interconnected society and no one could stand alone.
Okay, yeah, sure. What I'm getting at is that. How can we call something green? How can we sell green studs? Well, we go down and cut a tree and we sell them within a week. They're still green, right? No, that's not what I'm talking about. How do we say that it's green? When the word green has not been out, meaning, not the color, okay? Meaning good for the environment type stuff. Green, when we think about that. So a lot of products are being sold today, green or organic. Okay, so there's another one, organic. What is organic? Organic. That ain't right. Organic. Close enough. Organic. All right. So I've got a son who is a farmer in upstate New York, and he is an organic farmer. And so I got into this long discussion with him about what is organic and what is not organic. Organic means that when you plant the seeds, you are going to save a certain percentage of the fruit or vegetable that you receive and replant that. Organic means that you're not going to use any type of chemical at all. So, let's think about any chemical at all, meaning that we're going to build a house and let's say this, we're going to build a house in Western North Carolina and we are going to not put any kind of termite treatment in the ground. What's going to happen to that house? All right. So when we think about organic, and as far as fruit and vegetable production, that means that whatever they use can't harm the plants, but it must keep the insects away. To use the word green when we're talking about green building means that we have to be able to produce a material, or at least use a material. Now, let me say, to produce a product, which the product is the house, and use materials that are green or organic. All right, so let's think about that. So did we plant these trees and, you know, and we used an organic method? Did we chop them down without using, and I know this is going to be way off, without using a fossil fuel? What's the possibility of that? All right, so I mean, you know, when we think about fossil fuels that's engaged in our production of all of this crap here, how can we do that? Can we do it? Can we go out there and saw a tree down with a saw that is run by PV power? Sure. There are chainsaws, and there are battery operated chainsaws right now. It may take you a while. You better have a lot of batteries, but then wait a minute. Hold on. What's in that battery? It's a chemical, acid, maybe not
Lithium,
acid.
probably.
Lithium. Where does lithium come from? What is
Mine.
lithium? What is it? What is lithium?
It's an element.
An element. Is it radioactive?
I
No.
don't think so.
Don't think so.
No.
How's it work?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, I can go out here and take a piece of granite and I can hook a positive and a negative cable to it, and I can take to my saw, and I'm not going to get anything. How does the lithium work?
Oh yeah, I don't know exactly how the lithium works, but I know it's mined, and then I think it has to be like, I don't know, transformed some way to lithium ion.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Okay, cool. All right. Bladder break, please. Okay, all right, we'll do. Let's take us a break. 10-minute break. See you back at 10:38.
How long? I didn't hear you.
10:38. 10 minutes.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, so we're back, and so Danny says the terms green or sustainable have been used to highlight practices and products that are more resource efficient and use less energy over the course of their lifespan. That does not mean that they are resource neutral or do not consume energy to produce. Okay, very good. So Danny, I'm gonna call on you for just a minute, and to explain to us. Let me go back over here. I'm trying to find. I've got too much stuff open. All right, so let's. So, Danny, you are knowledgeable on how to build a house using the resources available to us. So let's think about that, and I want you to take over here, and I'm not picking on you. I'm using your knowledge. I want to educate some of these other people about building a house with local resources. Okay. All right, so help us out there.
Well, from a larger viewpoint, one of the things that we've had to address to build a house is availability of materials. In our current events now, we have the ability to choose many materials that come from a lot of different places. We've not always had that capability. And you know, when you're just trying to make a shelter for yourself and do it as well as you can, you use the materials that you have around. That's why so many of our houses were built from stone, from wood. You know, we've got a kind of a romantic notion of the American settler coming in and using the trees, you know, the materials available to build log cabins that were kind of a representation of the type of houses that European settlers were used to living in. But previous to that, all manner of different societies have used their the materials that they had on hand. So if you look at building in the Southwest, and you're going to see a lot more mud brick, you're going to see a lot more design that incorporates natural formation and
keep going.
All right. I don't want to go too far into a tangent, but
no, you're fine. You're fine.
The ability that we have to choose multiple different materials that come from all over the world is a relatively new thing.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore allows us to build in different ways than we would normally have been able to build. If you're just going to be stuck with the materials that you have, and there's no other way to get any different materials, you're going to use what you have. That's when you end up with sod houses out on the plains. That's when you end up with rock houses along the coast. You have thatched roofs. If you don't have enough lumber to build a roof, or you don't have a material to make a shingle, you can thatch your roof using the grasses and other natural materials that are available. If you look at building on the Pacific Northwest coast, that they had a large stock of gigantic trees that they were able to build large log longhouses with large boards from giant trees. If you're not somewhere that has giant trees, you're going to do whatever you have with the resources available. A friend of mine who was stationed in Iraq for quite some time had a lot to say about the guys who start off with nothing but a goat and a shovel, and they dig their own well. Once they have water, they've got enough material to make mud brick, and then you work from there. You have to start with the material that you have. Difficult to do much without water, so there's the first thing you're going to need, no matter what.
Yep.
It's looking at your search there.
Yeah.
Houses in Norway.
Yep. So Danny has a huge point right there. So why do we build houses that that are these enormous things, that have nothing to do with the material that's available to us? All right. So as I was going through here, you were looking at houses like in Iraq. Well, what's these houses built out of? Well, what's the main thing in Iraq? Sand. What's the main thing that we have in the Pacific Northwest? Logs. We have huge trees. So it went all the way back to sod, and the houses in, go back far enough. Well, where have I lost it? There it is, Southwest house. I mean, again, adobe. Well, there's tons of of sand and mud and all kinds of stuff that were available to us in the Southwest. So when you go to Santa Fe, this is the typical kind of house that you see. We don't, look at this picture here. Where's the trees? Right there's a tree. We can't use a tree to build a house. All right. So why do we do such things? Why do we build these monstrosities and ship material in from all over the place? Let's think about this. And I'm definitely not going to spell this right.
We're not really unified as a society, and money drives everything in the world. So we got to get away from that concept and think more holistic.
Well, absolutely. But that don't always, that's just not happening for some reason. it has a lot to do with, just say Weyerhaeuser. There we go. Weyerhaeuser. Well, that's not what I wanted, but Weyerhaeuser is a huge producer of wood, and look where it comes from. It comes from places that have trees. It comes from out west. It comes from Canada. It comes from Washington. Why? Because that's where the tree production is. So
that's the only tree production that's left since we cut down all the trees that were here to build houses.
Very good. Very good point. Very good point. So let's think about this for a second. Do we have any virgin forests?
No.
Western North Carolina?
Linville Gorge.
There you go. Why?
No.
And Joyce Kilmer.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Well, Joyce Kilmer, the old growth forest there is protected and was never logged. The reason Linville was never logged is because we couldn't get roads into it.
There you go. There you go. This is my home county, okay? This is my playground. You better be able to, number one, you can't get a mule in here. You can't get a llama in here. You damn sure can't get a horse in here. And me and my arthritic shape right now, I can't even get in there. I love this place. I grew up here, been there all the time, but you can't get in and out of there. The trails that come off of the tops, there's a road here and there are roads through here. But to get down here, you don't hike down it. It's a controlled fall. I can promise you. And if you got a 40-pound pack on your back, that 40-pound pack is going to push you down this slope the whole way. I promise you. So yeah, we couldn't get, we didn't, the river is not large enough to cut timber, throw it into the river and let it run down here to Lake James. It's just not going to happen. So yeah, that was one of the reasons. So, let's look at this.
Pisgah? That's what I was thinking.
I can spell it right. I can't spell it right. Spell it.
P-I-S-G-H-A? No.
G-A-H.
G-A-G-H.
National Forest Map. So let's look at this. That's not the best one. That's not the best one.
So all our national forests are only virgin forests left.
No.
The national forests are not virgin forests either. They're most of those got logged.
Yep.
Oh, that's
who there we go. That's the map I'm looking for. So this is Pisgah National Forest. Now this is not all of Pisgah National Forest. All right. Where did Pisgah National Forest come from?
That's what I want. Who's Pisgah?
Who's Pisgah?
Is that Native American?
No. Well, it probably is.
Vanderbilt.
Vanderbilt.
George Vanderbilt is the person that owned Pisgah National Forest. All right. So this man, now you think, oh, he had a big ass house for him and his wife. They were young. They didn't have any kids. They died at a young age. Now this monstrosity that we call the Biltmore House is here, and went through production. He built a town. He built a railroad just to build this house. But the man did a lot. He did one good thing great, and that was forestry in America. So forestry in America. So if you ever get a chance, go up here to the Cradle of Forestry. And it's a museum. It's a really nice place. And thanks to George Vanderbilt. So George Vanderbilt, he's probably standing out on his veranda wishing that it looked like this. In the 1920s, when you looked across through here, all you seen was devastation. Absolutely pure nothing. But as far as the eye could see, every tree cut down, stripped of all, we think this is beautiful. But in the 1920s, whenever they were building that house, this was not the scene. So he brought over a German named Pinshaw to start forestry in America. And because of that, we now have the North Carolina Forest Service. And I want to say this, I worked for the Forest Service, the North Carolina Forest Service. And, you know, the U.S. Forest Service is great, but the North Carolina Forest Service is the probably the best forest service in the world, because we offer the North Carolina Forest Service has they have on staff foresters that have went to school and have trained and will come out and assess your property and talk to you about how to best manage your forest, how that you can use your production, how you can cut it and resow it and get the best out of it, while at the same time, you know, preserving what is left to preserve, I guess I could say. And so a couple of things to say about this. If you know, most forest services in most states are firefighters, North Carolina Forest Service included. The number one job in the North Carolina Forest Service is to fight forest fire. However, it is also dedicated to preservation of forests and so forth. So let's think about, this is the North Carolina Forest Service and the U.S. Forest Service. So the North Carolina Forest Service, when they fight a fire, here's a fire, and that's generally how, even though it looks like a fire, that's the way a fire will run, okay? The North Carolina Forest Service fights the fire here, all right, because it's traveling in that direction. Same fire by the U.S. Forest Service, fire's traveling in this direction. This is where they fight it. That's one of the main differences in the U.S. Forest Service versus the North Carolina Forest Service. And why is that? Because the more area that burns for the U.S. Forest Service, fire equals money for them. So you hear about all of this, all of these millions and millions of acres being burnt out west. A lot of this is because how politics is running the U.S. Forest Service. The North Carolina Forest Service gets no more money, doesn't matter how much area burns. So when houses are lost in North Carolina, you know, a lot of people, they blame the North Carolina Forest Service when we lose a house. If you'll look at, you know, you look at your newspapers, your media, when a fire destroys a house in out west somewhere, who's to blame? The fire. You very seldom ever hear of the arson getting blamed. I mean, yeah, they get penalized. They may do some jail time. Most of the time, it's just a monetary fine. So, you know, there was a fire that we had here in Burke County, and I don't remember what it's called. Mineral.
M-I-N.
Say it again.
You saying mineral?
Mineral.
M-I-N? E-R-A-L.
There you go. Mineral. God almighty. Springs. Let's see if I can get anything. Mineral Springs Fire Department. I want Mineral Springs Fire Department. I didn't type in Mineral Springs Fire Department. Mineral Springs Fire. I was a firefighter at the time, and so this was the Mineral Springs Fire. This is Interstate 40. This is exit 107, which my house is like right over here. This fire burnt for 4 days and scorched about 27,000 acres. and it was the epiphany of fires as far as North Carolina is concerned. It started a lot of changes in North Carolina as far as fire was concerned. And to look back across these old mountains today, you'd never even know that the fire had went through here, because immediately the North Carolina Forest Service went back and planted trees through here. So that gives you an idea of how the Forest Service gets involved in there. Now, what does that have to do with building a house? Well, it goes back to that, what we were talking about, Penshaw, the Pisgah Forest, how we build houses here. Well, how we build houses here is because we have resources of trees locally. We can build a house. If we had to, we could go out here and build a house from the trees, and we could be successful. All right, so yeah.
You're going to find to engineer stamp that lumber, though.
Ah, good one. The good thing about the North Carolina Building Code says that if you harvest the lumber from your property for your house, it doesn't have to require a stamp. Now, how many of you have enough property that you can cut enough trees to build a house? So I own 2 acres of land. I have a 4,000 square foot house. And yes, I know we just got through talking about enormous houses, but keep in mind, I've raised 7 kids, okay? And 4 plus 1 kids are still here. So in other words, I have one kid that has their spouse here. So, we have a big family that we don't need one, let's see, 7, 6, we don't need 6 houses that are, we'll say 2,000 square foot each. We can all live in one 4,000 square foot house. Okay. So, and I have 2 acres of land, and I renovated the house, and I cut down my own trees. I salvaged trees from other places, but then how does the North Carolina code say, well, wait a minute, did those trees come from your house or from your yard? Maybe, maybe not. So, how is that proven? I was trying to find there. House renovation. So, this is what my house looked like growing up. It was the basement was unfinished, and it was 1,300 square feet, and it was okay. It was nice, but we wanted, and my mother, oh my God, you see this? This is the front door. What color is that carpet? Who the hell puts white carpet on the first room in the house?
Oh, that's just
in Western North Carolina, and white cabinets. My mother, oh, that's who, my mother. Jesus, Pete. Okay, so what we done was we started ripping this house apart. And yes, we had to buy oak from other places, but this trim here did not come from another place. It came from here. The posts on the front of the house, the posts inside the house, the trim, let me go down here a little bit further. The trim around the windows are all oak, and it came from trees in the house. The stairs came from trees in the house or in our yard. So how was I able to do this? Well, it was called a sawmill. All right. I had a lot of equipment to my disposal, thank God, through a community college. So the community college that I was working for had a sawmill. It had a CNC router. So, I could utilize that equipment, thank God. See my door? My door has 2 of these on it, front and back, and I've done that with a CNC router. I had resources to my availability, but then at the same time, I'm still going out in the woods and I'm cutting down a piece of, a maple sapling to use as the handrail. I'm cutting rhododendron that grow on my property to use as railing. So, I was trying my best to utilize the materials that I had at hand, and still end up with a fairly nice house. Even the bathroom tile work. This was discontinued tile. I paid probably 25 cents a tile for this, and cut it and made my own bathroom. Even though I went a little elaborate on the front walkway, thanks to Yellowstone National Park, but I tried my best to save and utilize materials that I didn't have to go very far to get, or did not, I took time to research the embodied material in here and make sure that it was at least locally sourced. So, that is the thought process behind some of this stuff that went into the rendition of our house. By the way, this is my oldest son. Today is his 31st birthday. So yeah, even though I'm using some hardy board and stuff, I don't want to have to, I don't like maintenance per se. So, that kind of thing I put in, trying to, trying to do as best I can. These they came from Marion. I don't know if you've ever been to Marion or not, but Marion has rock quarries about probably about every 2 miles. Everybody says that McDowell County is going to end up selling its property one rock at a time. And so let me explain to you some of the drawbacks. So because I was using lumber from my house, I did not have kilns. I let it dry as best I could. But so when we put this post, and let me just back up here a minute, this post is very close to, and I don't have a picture, this post is very close to this. This post is actually right over here. And so the first winter that we fired up that furnace, you see, I could stick my finger down here. This was is an 8x8 oak log. And for you to buy an oak log 8x8, well, let me just say this. You can probably buy a 1x6, 8 foot long at Lowe's for about $30. All right. So for me to be able to use oak from my property worked great, but there are some drawbacks. We had twists, we had shrinkage problems, and that's okay. Even this, I don't know, it's kind of hard to see in this picture here, but you can kind of see how this twisted a lot. And that's okay. We left it in place. It's got a good character to it. My whole house is just nothing but character. And so we utilized what products that I could salvage and what I had to have time for. Now, when you're thinking about the time spent in this took us 10 years to renovate. We started in 2007. Actually, it took us longer than that. I got my CO, which is my certificate of occupancy, last summer, 2020. Okay, I got off a temporary pole in the summer of 2020, and we started in 2007 while we're living here. All right, so it's taken us a long time to get to this point now, but we finally got here, and I'm happy that we did. It took an effort out of the whole family. And that is something that has happened for millennia. We've had, families that were fairly large. They could run the farm, they could build the house, they could do everything necessary for the homestead. And, but not everybody can do that. I mean, you guys, you think about, I know I'm going to pick on Tim for a minute. He's single. And so he doesn't have a big family. If he wanted to build him a house, he's going to have to do everything himself, unless he can get some of his friends drunk and pay them with beer and stuff. But, that is, what we have to kind of deal with as far as what modern day times are concerned. So when we're looking at these different things in building the house, we have to think about what kind of embodied energy. It's not like we can take a house and it's just turnkey. there are a lot of things that go into the house, and beer and stuff, Josh says. So yeah, I mean, however you got to pay your friends, you got to pay your friends. We don't pay in wampum anymore. Well, I was gonna say we don't pay in wampum and brandy, but I pay in brandy. So, so for your homework, I want to take a look at this history of the house here, but I want you to go through the life cycle assessments in through here, and down here at the bottom is a new assignment. And this assignment is the life and times of, and I want you to submit a report, a flow chart, a spreadsheet, PowerPoint, whatever you want, however you want, on a material, a single material used in a house. Now, don't tell me cement, because cement is a component in concrete. If you're going to do, if you want to talk about cement, you got to do concrete, okay? By the time it's brought to the house and added to the house, what material is that? So Covey says pizza and tacos too. Yeah, tacos go a long way too. So, you got to make sure that you include mineral extraction, transportation, production, fuels, everything. What's it used for? How long is it going to last? What happens at the end of its lifespan? Are we going to demolish it? Are we going to recycle it? Are we going to dispose it? I want you to get really nitpicky on this. All right. I want you to pull out all the stops and try to find how much embodied energy goes into this. Now, let me give you an example.
Please. What about a nail?
Firewood. Okay. To cut down firewood, Danny, don't come at me with don't come at me with an axe and a handsaw. Okay. I got to do this week. Okay. So I need a chainsaw. I need fuel for the chainsaw. I need to
oil.
I got to have oil. Thank you. All right. I've got to sharpen that chain.
Sharpener, yeah.
What?
A file to sharpen the chain.
Okay, files. Yep. All right. So, the old saying, my father always used to say, there are 5 heatings out of firewood. 1 is when you cut it. 2 is when you split it.
What word did you use? Heatings?
Heatings. Heatings. How many heatings do you get out of firewood? You cut it, you split it, you move it, and you burn it. All
That's
right.
only 4.
What did I say?
No, that's only 4.
Did I not say 4?
You said 5.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Move it. Let me go in here. Add. And we won't go. I don't know why this thing is doing this today.
Oh, stack it.
There you go. 5 heatings. So when you cut it, you're going to get warm. When you split it, you're going to get warm. When you move it, you're going to get warm. When you stack it, you're going to get warm. And actually, if you move it again to end the house, you're going to get warm, and then you burn it and you get warm. Okay. So there's all of this embodied energy into firewood. Okay. Any questions?
Yeah, it says that we should list our resources or our sources.
Yeah.
Is there any particular way that you would like us to do that, or just link?
No, my daughter's the English major in this family. I don't even know what, she's told me about 3 or 4 types of sources. I have no clue. Just give me a list of where you got them from.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You probably could tell me what kind of, I don't know. I have no clue. I don't care as long as, you just put them up there. Hey, I found this, it was a Google site from Weyerhaeuser or the Metal Association or the Gypsum Board Association. I don't care. Any other questions?
Yeah, the ones you do,
1 week. Oh, I'm glad you said that. Monday, we will not meet so that you have time to work on this. Okay?
And for other reasons too.
Monday.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. I was like, what are you talking about? Yeah, I forgot. There are no classes on Monday, period. 3-day weekend. I forgot about that.
Martin Luther.
Martin Luther.
Oh, all right. I knew it was a holiday. I just couldn't.
It's a holiday. Sorry. Yeah.
So we see you in a week.
Yeah.
So, all right. So this is due next Wednesday.
Cool.
Correct.
Is that before start of class, or is that 11:59 the night before?
Good question. Good question. It is due Wednesday, January 20th at 12 a.m. So you got till basically, you got till Tuesday at 11:59. Nah, I'll change that. Wait a minute.
Yeah, give us the Wednesday night.
I'll give you the Wednesday at starting the class.
Oh, well, yeah. Oh, well, yeah. Now you said any format, like.
Any format, I don't care. This is not an English class. I'm not going to be judging you on, I'm definitely not going to be judging you on spelling, okay? So just don't even go there. I want you to get the information. I want you to understand the embodiment of energy and the lifespan of the material. That's it, okay? I'm not, like I say, you can do your English report somewhere else.
You said nitpicky. Do
Yeah.
you mean like?
What, you don't know what nitpicky is?
Well, yeah, but let me specify. How detailed do we have to explain each process? I think that's
Enough that if you give your report to George, he understands it. Remember that we cannot read minds. Just keep it, I don't know how to do that.
Oh, somebody put, how long would you like it?
How long would I like? I want it as long as you can get the point across. I don't.
Details.
You got
devil's in the details.
You're asking me too many details here. How do I get rid of this stupid thing here? There. I'm trying to get rid of the chat comes up and I can't see nothing.
Just click chat. It's a toggle.
Well, I know, but I couldn't find the toggle off.
Oh.
Any other questions? You get it as detailed, I don't know how to explain that to you. I'm wanting you to get detailed.
You don't have any examples for us to look at, do you?
Nitpicky. No. You give me an example. All of you give me an example. I'll use it for the next class.
Well, I'll do one and submit it early for like a rough draft, and you say, "Hey, you forgot this, dummy," or something. Is that okay?
Okay. I'm not here to judge you. The only thing I'm judging is I want you to think. Put on your thinking caps and think. How deep, it's kind of like, you remember the movie Inception? About dreams? How many times do you dream and dream and dream and dream?
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah, I want you to go as deep as you can without blowing your mind or, waking up and looking like a bald-headed hippie like myself. Okay. Have a good one, guys. I'll see you in a week.
Bye.
Bye.